demonstrate our understanding of the text by correctly sequencing the steps described in the book. Can someone raise their hand and tell me what does sequencing mean? Dicey? When we say sequencing the steps. Darcy, how do you
It means
put things in order. So we're going to correctly put things in order. Describing, but can you make please crisscross that? Okay, so today we're going to focus on a very special kind of nonfiction book. It's called procedural text. Everyone say procedural text.
Procedural text.
Okay, we're going to learn what a procedural text is and why is it important and what some of its text features are. Okay, so what is a procedural text? Prediction. Are you finished? Okay, will you read a book, Bridget? Okay, it helps you do something and you're going to read the book. Okay, so procedural texts, they are nonfiction books or articles that tell us how to make something or how to do something by telling us the specific steps that need to be followed. They are very important because they give us important information that we can use every day. So our purpose of reading procedural text or learning about procedural text is going to be very important because it helps us do things in our everyday lives. It teaches us how to become better at something we like doing. And they give us interesting information about the world around us. And they help us become experts. I've learned how to do so many different things by reading procedural text. Like making cupcakes. I love cupcakes. So if I wanted to learn or be an expert of how to make cupcakes, I would read this book. Or I love Nintendo games. So if I wanted to win, I would read this book to learn all the different steps in order for me to win. Or for my son, he likes to play soccer. If he wants to learn how to play and be an expert, he would read this book and follow all the different steps. First, second, third, next. He will be sure that he can follow all those steps. So remember to pay attention to the steps described in this book. We're going to read this book, Trees to Paper. And all the important words, first, second, third, fourth, then, next, finally, is going to be found in this book. And it's very important when we do our procedural text. We have to make sure we include first, second, third, fourth, then, next, finally. Okay, so we have a book, Trees to Paper, and it's very important to make sure you listen and look at the pictures because it will help you. Trees to Paper. Table of contents, we learned about that last week. Text feature. Okay, so paper is made from trees. What is paper made from? Trees. The wood from the trees is cut into small pieces. Not big pieces, very small pieces. Water and chemicals are added to the wood. This mixture is called pulp. Everyone say pulp.
Pulp.
Pulp. It kind of reminds me of like when we have orange juice or we have oranges and we squeeze and a little pulp comes out. I love oranges with pulp. So if you have orange juice, maybe you can look at the pulp. So pulp. Okay, the pulp is put into machines and the pulp is wet. What is it put into, Adriana? The pulp is put into what? Help her out, Stephanie. It's put into a machine, okay? And the pulp is wet. Then the pulp is spread out flat on a new machine. So it looks just like this. It's spread out into a new machine. It's very flat. The pulp goes through many machines. This machine dries the pulp. The dry pulp is paper. So it goes into a lot of machines, and then when it's in this machine, it actually dries it. Do you see how it becomes paper?
Yes.
Paper. You don't see it? See how that is paper? It was wet and it went through a machine. Yeah, that's paper. Okay, this machine cuts the paper into different sizes. It's cut into different sizes. Yes, Hudson?
When you look at it, it looks like a baseball field or something.
A baseball field?
Or a football.
Okay. So paper used for many things. We write and draw on paper. Can someone raise their hand and tell me what else do we use paper for? Darcy?
We sometimes use paper to like read newspapers.
Newspaper. What else? Nasir? Toilet paper. Okay.
And
Proud Adriana. Napkins. One more. Stephanie. For books. Good job. All of those things that we use paper for. Many things must be done to make paper from trees. So they have to cut the wood into what kind of pieces? Small pieces. Then they add what? Water and chemicals to make pulp. Okay? Then they put it into a machine and what does it become? It becomes flat and then it turns to paper. And is it cut or are they going to just put it like they cut to different sizes? Okay, I'm going to read the book one more time without stopping. Okay, so really pay attention this time. Trees to paper. Pay attention, listen, and then also look at your pictures. Paper is made from trees. Okay, the wood from the trees is cut into small pieces. Yes, Ty? So we're reading the procedure of testing. Find out. The wood from the trees is cut into small pieces. Water and chemicals are added to the wood. The mixture is called pulp. The pulp is put into machines. The pulp is wet. Then the pulp is spread out flat on a machine. The pulp goes through many machines. This machine dries the pulp. The dry pulp is paper. Tied up. This machine cuts the paper into different sizes. Paper is used for many things. We write and draw on paper. Questions later? Many things must be done to make paper from trees. The end. Okay, so now that we've read this text, we're going to put them in order. We're going to put the steps in order. Amy, I like the way you're sitting. Can you come up here and drag the first step? What is the first thing we need to do to make paper? Class, do we agree?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, as an entire class, can you just explain to me, Adriana, pay attention. What's going on in this picture? First, you can say it.
First they cut.
They or?
First you cut tiny little pieces off trees.
What is that little pieces of trees called?
Wood.
Wood. First, you cut tiny. What's the rules when we're sitting right in front of the projector? We don't raise our hand, we do it sideways. You cut tiny pieces of wood. Okay, I'm looking for someone else. It's quiet. Ty. What's the second thing? Class, do you agree?
Yes.
Who's that now?
Hudson.
Why don't you agree? Oh, okay. All right, so we all agree. Now, what can we write right here? Dyson.
Second,
Mm-hmm.
you.
Second you. Can someone help him? Darcy?
Second, you put water and chemicals and the little pieces of and the little pieces that they make it like from the trees, and it turns into pulp.
It turns into pulp. Okay, so second we can put add. You add water and chemicals and it turns, or the wood turns to pulp. Okay, so it's obvious that this is third. And what's going on here? Mara.
The pulp is going into a machine.
Okay, how is the pulp though? Like, it was like something very specific in the text. Is the pulp hot? Is it cold? Is it dry? Is it wet? Is it thick? Is it thin? Emmy? It's wet. So third, the pulp goes through a machine. And it is wet. Okay. Then what happens? Sam. What happens next? Does everyone agree?
No. Yes. No.
Okay, why don't you agree, Dyson?
Because finally
Mm-hmm.
they dry the paper.
Who else does not agree? Darcy, why don't you agree with him?
I don't agree because not after it is wet, it doesn't turn into paper when it dries.
Yes. Unfortunately, Sam, can you stay up here? It doesn't turn into paper immediately. It has to do something first. Good job. It has to go through a machine and get dried first. So then we can then it goes, or the paper, you have to be very specific, I messed up. Then the paper goes through many machines to become dried. Okay, Nasir, what's next? Yeah, thank you. Good job. Now what's happening in that picture, class? I'm listening.
It's getting dry and turning into paper.
Okay, they use the word.
Then you
Next is
next you dry the paper. You dry it. You dry the wet stuff.
mm-hmm.
The wet
paper.
the wet paper, and then you dry it, and it turns into paper.
It does, but is this on is it flat? Is it up? Is it down? It's flat. They use the word flat. So next, the paper is flat on a machine and is ready to use, but you have to do another step first. Okay, and then finally, what's going on in this picture? Stephanie. They're doing what to the different sizes?